Okay, so I know that what I'm about to say is going to make some people really, really mad. And I'm going to do it anyway. I don't like watching soccer. I mean, this is the thing. Here's the thing. Hey, I'm like, oh yeah, thanks. Thanks, dude. Like, no, here's the deal. It's like, so, you know, as a guy, like as a male, who's fully man, people say like, oh, Father, like, what do you like to watch? You watch football? I'm like, no. Okay, are you like more of a baseball guy? Nope. Are you like a football guy? Like, no. Soccer? No. Why? Because I don't understand. I never understand. Why would I love whatever the sport is, why would I want to watch someone else do it when I could have the chance to do it myself? Like, I guess I don't understand this. When it comes to this, I like this crowd back here. They're very nice. But here's the thing, it's just this frustration. And I get it, like you want to watch people who are awesome, but I don't understand. I also don't understand like the idea of wearing someone else's jersey or someone else's number. Like you might have that and that's you and that's fine, that's wonderful. I want to wear my number. I want to wear my name on the back of my shirt. I don't need to have someone else who's like, they're great and I'm gonna wear their, I want to do it, that's my problem. That's why I don't like watching sports, because why would I want to watch someone else do what I actually love doing? I mean, I get at the same time, you know, that's one of the reasons why we love stories so much. Because in stories, like you get to kind of feel like you're part of it. And I get maybe that's part of what it is with, you know, sports and whatnot. Like you get to feel like you're part of it. But like movies, isn't that one of those things? One of the reasons we watch them is because you get to like lose yourself. You feel like I'm in it. And there's certain kinds of movies, there's certain kinds of stories that they even bring you in even more. Like, you know, musicals. Like they kind of bring you in, because you just want to sing along. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break through. Right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go, let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry. Here I stand, and here I'll stay. Let the storm rage on. You want to hear something crazy? My life has been a series of doors in my face, till suddenly I bumped into you. I was thinking the same thing. It's like, I've been searching my whole life to find my own place. And maybe it's the party talking or the chocolate fondue. But with you, I found my place. And it's nothing like I've ever known before. Love is an open door. Love is an open door. Love is an open door with you, with you, with you, with you. Love is an open door. Right? So like, one of the reasons we love these things, one of the reasons we love like that kind of a thing is because you get to feel like you're part of it. We just did a duet, you guys. It was special and amazing. But isn't it funny, like that movie Frozen, I don't know if you knew that was from a movie called Frozen. In that movie, it's so, like, I'm so struck by like the two characters, Anna and Elsa, and those songs, right? The songs in that movie, those two songs, like Let It Go is like the anthem of the movie, right? It's like the one she's like, I'm gonna see, you know, no right, no wrong, no rules for me. Do you guys realize when someone says that, no right, no wrong, no rules for me, and they have the ability to freeze the entire planet, that this is the song of a villain. I don't know if you got that, like, it's time to see what I can do. You're all dead. Like, because that's reality though. Like, here's these two girls, and you know, here's Elsa's story, and of course, she's just tormented, obviously, because she has these powers, and what's wrong with her, all these kind of things. And so she's locked away. Like this whole parents' advice of conceal, don't feel, don't let it show. Like, bad parenting. That's just bad parenting right there. That's all that is. And so people feel badly for Elsa. I also feel badly for Anna. I mean, crying out loud, everyone's like, well, Elsa, she's all, you know, she's in her room, she can't talk to anybody. Anna, she just wants to build a snowman. Like, all she wants. Both these girls, this is crazy, both of these girls are made for love. I mean, I'm looking a little deeper into the Disney movie than you might have done, but both of these girls they're made for love. And they both try to find it. Here's Elsa, she tries to find it, but no, you have to shut yourself up. Here's Anna, she tries to find it. She's looking, knocking on the door, and no one's opening. And both of them know they're made for love, and they don't find it, so what do? Elsa says, you know what, I'm made for love, and I don't find it, so I'm out of here. I'm taking off, and I'm going up into the mountains. I'm going to do myself an ice castle and an ice dress, and I'm fine. Let it go. Honestly, if the story ended there, that's not a great story. That anthem it's a tragedy, isn't it? I know I'm made for love, but I don't think I'll actually ever find love, so I'm just going to leave everyone else in the dust. And if that story ended there, she would be by herself in the mountains, sleeping on a block of ice. Tragedy. But seriously, so was Anna's story. Like, Anna's, that love song in the movie is Love is an Open Door. If that was the end of her story, here's Anna. She knows she's made for love. She doesn't get love. So the first person who comes along and offers her maybe something that looks like love, she's like, I want it. Some of us may have done that in our lives. You know you're made for love. The first person comes along and offers love, you're like, yes, yes, yes. Maybe it's the chocolate fondue, but who even cares? If Anna's story ends there, is that a happy ending? No, she's marrying a man who plans on abusing her and ultimately killing her. Let It Go is not a triumphant song. That's a song of someone who's broken. They know they're made for love and they don't get it. Let It Go is not a love song. It's a song of someone who's so desperate she'll take love wherever she can. And that's why it's a great thing that the story didn't end there. That what has to happen in order to free that coldness in Anna's heart? What has to happen is Anna has to be executed. Right? That's what saves the whole, whatever that Rivendell, I don't know what it's called, that place. What saves the whole, place is Anna's execution. That powerful scene, remember that powerful scene where Anna is executed? Oh, I didn't see that scene. I know, because she didn't get executed. What was Anna? She wasn't executed, she was a sacrifice, right? She didn't get executed, she sacrificed herself. There's a huge difference. I want to make this huge point. Anna, it wasn't her execution that saved everyone. It was the fact that she was a sacrifice. That's what broke through. That's what melted her heart. That was what true love was. If Anna was just executed, would anything have changed? Absolutely not. If what's-his-name was able to just kill her, would the world have been saved? No. But because she was more than an executed, because she was a sacrifice, that's what saved the whole place. Now here's the thing. In most Catholic churches, we have this big image behind the altar. It doesn't say usually God is. What is it usually? It's a crucifix. Do you realize this? Do you realize that a crucifixion is an execution? We always say, oh, the sacrifice of Jesus. No. That's not a sacrifice. That is an execution. The Romans were executioners. They didn't think they were offering up a sacrifice to anyone. All they were doing is, here's this guy who claims to be God. Here's this guy who's maybe a potential uprising of the Jewish people. So we're going to execute him. If you look at a crucifix, it's just an execution. Question, can an execution save you? No. We need the sacrifice of Jesus to save us. So here's the question. What changes the crucifixion from an execution that doesn't save anyone to a sacrifice that saves the world? It's this. The night before he died, Jesus took bread in his hands and he says, take this, all of you, and eat of it. This is my body given for you. Take the chalice filled with wine, take all of you and drink from it. This is the chalice of my blood to be poured out for you. The reason why the crucifixion was not merely an execution is because Jesus had already, the night before, he had already sacrificed his very self, his very body and blood at the altar of the Last Supper. The only thing that changes, let me say this one more time, the only thing that changes the crucifixion from being an execution to being a sacrifice is the Eucharist, amen? The only thing that changes the crucifixion from being an execution to being a sacrifice that can save your life and my life is what we're about to do. Because what we're about to do, if you're not going to offer up the execution of Jesus, at every Mass, we offer up the sacrifice of Jesus. We actually call this, and I invite you to start calling Mass. I go to Mass on Sunday. No, let's call it this. Let's be fancy. I call it the holy sacrifice of the Mass. It's the holy sacrifice of the Mass. is not an execution. It's not just a memory thing. It's not just like a communal meal. We're offering up the sacrifice. At every Mass, we're offering up the sacrifice of the Son to the Father in the power of the Holy Spirit. The problem is this. One of the problems is this. Even if you believe that Jesus is really present in the Eucharist, most of us show up to Mass and we just watch. Because Mass is what? Mass is what the priest is doing. Mass is what the priest is doing. We watch him do that thing. He offers a sacrifice. We go like, hey, well done. I like how you lifted your arms like that. That was nice. Question. Who here has been baptized? If you could raise your hand if you've been baptized. Okay, so like a couple of you. I don't know if you know this, but if you've been baptized, when you were baptized, you were also anointed. And the priest or deacon who baptized you anointed you a priest, prophet, and king. King or queen, royalty, part of the family. Prophet, to speak God's word. You've been anointed a priest. So everyone who raise your hand, you realize this. You are already anointed a priest. You're what you call a kingdom priest. Now we have ministerial priests, and you need ministerial priests to offer the sacrifice of the Eucharist. But you don't watch the priests do their thing. Because why? Because you're priests as well. This is not like, this is the radical Father Mike. No, this is actually church teaching, right? The idea, the truth, that when you're baptized, you're made into a priest, which means you're meant to offer the sacrifice of the Son to the Father with the priest behind the altar. But I gotta wonder, if we realize this, how many years have you shown up for Mass, Sunday after Sunday, and you've just wasted your priesthood? Because you haven't used it, you just watch Mass. How many years, Sunday after Sunday, have you shown up and just wasted your priesthood? Here's my invitation for you today. The Eucharist is not an execution. It is the sacrifice of the Son to the Father that saves the world. And we don't just watch it, we offer it with the priest, and we offer it with Jesus. So my invitation for you is this, to not waste your priesthood ever again, but to offer up the sacrifice with the priest, because you are a priest, for crying out loud. You are a kingdom priest of God the Father in his holy Catholic Church that spreads out throughout the whole world and actually saves the world. Because you realize this, as often as you offer up the sacrifice with the priest, the ministerial priest, as often as you do this, it saves the world. It saves the world, it changes the world. But you have to do it. You have to stop watching and start doing. So here's the last thing. Here's what I'm going to invite you to do. If you're not going to waste your priesthood, I invite you to unite your prayers, your sacrifice, to Jesus' sacrifice. But in order to do that, what you need to do is you need to go from being an execution to becoming a sacrifice. And here's it's the last turn. Just follow me on this one. That Fulton Sheen is his bishop back in the day. He once talked to all the priests and he said this. He said, when you're ordained a priest, you're ordained to lift up the sacrifice, but you're also ordained to be the sacrifice. When you're made a priest, you're not only ordained to lift up the sacrifice, you're also ordained to be the sacrifice. You have to be the victim with Jesus. You have to be the sacrifice with him. Now, I'm going to say the same thing for you. When you were anointed a priest at your baptism, kingdom priest at your baptism, you were also anointed to be a sacrifice. Think, what does the priest say? Pray, my brothers and sisters, that my sacrifice and yours may be acceptable to the Father. It's your sacrifice too, but part of that sacrifice is, yes, it's Jesus. It's his body, blood, soul, and divinity. It's him on the cross. But it's also your suffering. It's also what breaks you down. It's also your heartbreak. It's also your pains. It's also the people that you hold in your heart, the people that you love, the people that you care about, the wounds you have. I'm going to invite you to do this at this Mass, to not waste your priesthood and not just be an execution, but become a sacrifice with Jesus, is when we bring up the gifts to the altar. I'm going to invite you to do this. When we bring up the gifts to the altar, bring yourself and place yourself on the altar and be the sacrifice as well. Don't, from now on, and do this every Mass until the day that you enter into the heavenly Mass. Don't, please, 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 don't waste your priesthood. And don't just be an execution, but as a kingdom priest of Jesus Christ, be the sacrifice with him.